What's going on, guys? Reed here. Today, we're going to have a very interesting conversation about parental alienation. Um, Part one was about Tyrese Gibson and the issues he was having with both baby mamas. Now, when you watched how Tyrese dealt with this very traumatic situation, it sent him into a stale tailspin, and he hasn't really recovered from it yet. Right? Tyrese hasn't recovered from it. Um, and one of the reasons I say that is because he began, changing up his style and his message. Um, and he began to act in ways that made him
Tyrese,
appear.
the actor and singer, turned heads in Egypt last week.
Look at this presentation. It's more grandiose, elevated self-esteem. His mood is expansive. And he's over there in a masculine country wearing a dress, right? Trying to pass it off as their culture when they're not even wearing a dress themselves, right? So this first marriage was very devastating for him, you know. Um, uh, this is his first marriage, and the parental alienation he suffered as a result of that. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. And then you can see the impact that this is having on him. And he was accused of abusing her. So this resulted in him, and then his second marriage, second divorce, here.
I was a whole married man, fully married, happy, never cheated, never lied, never did anything behind your back, never met up in the Sprinter and got my head in a...
See, the thing is that he's engaging with unconscious women, right? And the pattern of alienation suggests that these were basically narcissistic women. So he's inundated with narcissistic women, and he's still trying to understand why things are not working out the way he thought they would, particularly when he gave so much effort to make things right. He described himself making so much effort to make things right, but it goes back to, I'm not a Christian, but it goes back to the scripture when Jesus was saying that you can't give what's valuable to pigs because they're going to consume it and then turn on you and trample on you. And that's the message that he's not seeing here. That's the similarities, is that he's engaged with narcissistic women, and therefore this is the narcissistic playbook. Parental alienation is the narcissist playbook for the person with empathy. And it's a very brutal process where they end up unaliving their own child so that they can have exclusive control over the child's mind and how the child perceives the world, right? And so if you're in a relationship with a narcissist and they're using your child against you, it's important that you be careful. You're going to have to make sure you get the most appropriate help right away. Because, again, narcissism is a network. You are under attack by an entire group of people, and they've decided to change reality on you. And what they've done is they place your child in the new reality they created while they leave you behind in the one you think exists. And in a new reality, there's no way to challenge any of the things they're saying to your child. This is a group effort to brainwash your child. If you are experiencing parental alienation, make sure you get help right away. Now, never go to their doctors, only go to yours who are experts and understand parental alienation. So let's see here. Here's what how he describes his second marriage.
You ain't got them stories on me. Now, everybody's got problems. Everybody go through shit. I never came at Sam. Over 2 years, never said one thing about that woman and came at her because I legally couldn't. Now, as soon as the trial happened, now I got some shit to say because you accused me of putting you out of the house, changing the locks, and kicking you and a 1-year-old out the house. That's a lie. You put the COVID mask on top of the Ring cameras and you arranged all the shit that you did. And now you're trying to get me for $20,000 a month for a 1-year-old at the time. And I couldn't speak on it. And I'm hurt and I'm bleeding out loud. I'm divorced and I know why.
See, Tyrese doesn't understand the concept of the mask and that the narcissists always present with someone that you want them to be. But that's not who they really are. And she doesn't want to be with you anymore. So she doesn't want to render that fake version of her anymore. And Tyrese can't get that. He can't get the fact that the lady is likely unconscious. This is Narcissism and Network. This part 1, Tyrese and things like that, and you see him going through these struggles with parental alienation. And the next person that comes to mind when I thought about this is 50 Cent. Let's see, 56 ex-wife. Let me see here. 56 wife. Let me do this. Let me try it this way. Okay, so okay, let me put it here. Okay, let me say here. List. List 50 Cent's marriages in chronological order and put an emphasis. List rapper 50 Cent's marriages in chronological order and put an emphasis on parental alienation and his with his son and his relationship with his son. Let me see. Let me see I get here. Okay, say rapper 50 Cent's real name Curtis Jackson has never been married, but his romantic relationships and especially his romantic relationship with his first son, Marquise Johnson, has been the subject of intense public attention, particularly regarding parental alienation and family conflict. And here's a chronological review of the relationship and the breakdown of his son. Okay, Shaniqua Tompkins, okay, from the early 90s. Okay, all early 90 relationships are like that. Listen, I think that's what it is. All early 90s relationships are like that. Relationship. 50 Cent most well known as a significant early relation. 50 Cent's most well known and significant early relationship was Shaniqua Thompson. They never married, but they shared a Shem Marquise, who was born in 97. Okay. In the family context, 50 after 50 Cent's music career took off in 2000, the relationship between he and Shanika became strained. Their conflict escalated after the two split. It became a publicly highly adversarial co-parenting situation. Okay. Yeah. So what happens if you're in a relationship with one of these narcs, they're not anytime you put up boundaries with them or limit them, they're going to destroy your career, they're going to destroy your reputation, they're going to destroy the patients you have around. So you can see how now this turns into a publicly highly adversarial parenting situation, right? Um, um, Parental alienation aspect. 50 Cent has repeatedly claimed that Shaniqua turned their son against him, a textbook example of parental alienation, when one parent manipulates a child to reject the other. In the interview on social media, 50 Cent has said things like, "My son has been trained to hate me." Yeah, yeah. He also expressed that his son's perspective was shaped by his mother's resentment and that it became impossible to rebuild trust once Marquise reached adolescence. This is where I go back and look at the video I did on how the narcissists come for your children, is that they want to program the minds of your children. And I did a series called The Pied Piper, right? And the Pied Piper is the narcissist influencing your children. And so this is what it is and everything. Remember, and you can see how I'll give you an example how pathological this type of this type of brainwashing is. Remember, I described parental alienation. This narc is unaliving the person, so they damage the person's internal sense of self so much that the person is only reliable on their external component of ego, which means everyone around them, which means them, because they isolate the person from everyone. And it's a very brutal and sadistic process where emotionally the person is tortured emotionally so much that psychologically they break. Let me help you understand how awful it is to do children like this, to psychologically torture them to the extent where their full psychological emotional apparatus that helps them regulate the world is destroyed and they're only dependent upon you. This is what I'm talking about. And when the child is in that mode, they don't represent themselves. They represent the reflection of the narc that unalived them. And it's something interesting here because you start to see the acts of violence directed towards the victim. If you are in a relationship with a narcissist and they are using your children against you, they will use violence against you. And the whole parental alienation is based upon violence. And it's based upon all of the people around you going to your child and giving you the exact opposite messages. And they are all doing this on purpose. It appears to you to come as a child with oppositional defiant disorder. You look at the person, the kid, think the person's oppositional defiant. No, but the person is intolerable for you because they're in another reality, a reality where everybody has decided to reject you. And this torture is undetected. This torture of children like this is undetected. And then look, events highlighting alienation. Around 2008, their home in Long Island burned down under suspicious circumstances. Both sides accuse each other, right? Deepening the rift. So she burns his house down because she had to leave, something like that. Let me get the let me see.
Okay, remember last week we talked about 50 Cent's multi-million-dollar house burning down, right? Yeah. His 10-year-old son, along with his ex, Shaniqua Tompkins, was in the house. And now Shaniqua is saying that 50 Cent is in fact the person that she believes burnt down the house. She says that she heard someone.
So listen, the lady I think she had to get out the house, something like that. And then she blames him for burning down his own house. This is narcs for you. That's why, 50 didn't understand that he's dealing with a network. He's not only dealing with her, he's dealing with other people too.
And shortly before the fire broke out, later.
And she says that this is basically attempted murder, right? Now, here's the thing. Somebody set the house on fire. So when at first you hear like, oh, she thinks somebody was in the house at 4 a.m. before the fire started. Well, that's very likely because somebody set the fire, so they were probably in the house in some way, right? Number two, whoever set the fire, and we don't know who set the fire, but whoever did is guilty of attempted murder. It was 4 a.m. Her and the 10-year-old boy were in the house. There's a very reasonable expectation that they would die in that fire.
Definitely. And keep in mind, there were 6 people in that house. Not just her and the son. 6 people in that house.
It doesn't make
so the lady burned the house down because she had to leave the house. Let me see. Okay, let me see. This is nuts. Okay, it's nuts. Okay, but you see what I'm saying here. All right. Yeah, okay. So acts of violence towards the victims and then blame the victim and try to get legal prosecution and everything against the victim. So try to arrange a story so that law enforcement comes after you. Typical narc behavior. And let me tell you, they've unalived that child. They've unalived that child, and they are intensely trying to get to you. And they'll do whatever they can, use that child in whatever capacity they can to get to you. Now, remember, understand this, so this is here now. The child is also participating in arson, and the child knows what mom is doing, and they're all a part of it and everything. And the child gets rewarded by mom. With his loyalty, with his secrecy and things like that. Now, remember, a child doesn't have the frontal lobe development that adult does. So when a child attacks you without any type of reservation or without any type of inhibition. They can do very cruel things, and you'll see later what we're talking about here, right? Okay, so here, by 2012, 2014, here we are, 4 to 8 years later, 56 and Maurice's relationship deteriorated almost completely. In later years, Marquise began posting online messages suggesting hostility towards his father. Now, again, the disrespect, 50 Cent's like a superstar, right? Multimillionaire. And this is another thing that is important for you guys to understand here. Very important for you to understand is that this happens to people who are gifted, who are talented, who have a lot of empathy. Yeah, if you are really bright, then that darkness comes around you. And all it's going to do is attempt to consume all the energy and all the emotions and all the good things you have. So as you can see, she's deploying this detachment strategy in stages. So I can burn down the house. I can fight for the kids. I can do this online. I can have the kid attack him online. She has a smorgasbord of tools and ways to get access to him to damage his relationships, damage his reputation, interfere his income. She has almost unlimited ways to use these channels and certain combinations of channels to target him. And this is what they do. And this is what they plan for before they even get into the relationship with you. Okay. Okay, so now she's using the child to go after him. Now remember, the child was unalived by her, and so the child only reflects his mother's hostility. So remember when I was saying that narcissists intentionally damage their children in order to use them as peripherals for themselves. And this way, they're able to stay involved in your life, but behind the scenes, actually influencing almost everything in your life through this mechanism. And they don't have to be with you, and they don't have to, you don't have to ever even see them. And the person can have that degree of harm and discomfort in your life. Let me help you understand what I mean by this. What I mean by this. You ever have the periods of times where you may not be doing well for long stretches of time, and you may not understand why? It could be because the sick people around you is distorting your reality to the extent where they've created a separate reality where they're all hanging out on and let everybody know about what's going on. Meaning they create a clique and they only form the people within a clique what's actually going on. So you never updated with what's going on in the environment, right? So, so children going through this brutal process of emotional psychological torture represent the mirror for the narcissists that unalive them, and they set them up to be harmed, to be prey in the future. Okay, which 50 Cent attributed to manipulation and bitterness from Shaniqua. Okay, and let me. Okay, now look at this. So, mom, the narcissist, basically destroyed his. Look at what he has coming for him while he's on his way to success. You know what I'm saying? This is that shadow. And that's why it's important that you cannot engage with these people at all. I mean, these people are absolutely sick, and they will destroy everything that you're working for. And they'll do this constantly in the background. These people are sick. If you have a child like this, you need to get away from them. To be honest, it's done. You need to get away. But in here, 50 Cent's son takes a photograph with the son of the man who shot 50 Cent. You see what I'm saying? With these narcissists, psychopaths, or sociopaths, they're going to try to take what's so valuable to you, which was his relationship with his son, and then turn that against you, because that is going to create the most psychological pain for the parent ever. So the goal for the alienating parent, the narcissistic parents, is to get your child to wholly reject you on all levels. If the narcissistic parent can get your child to wholly reject you, that's like a energy burst that they can thrive off for the rest of your life, understanding that they've ran a scheme and separated you from your child for all of y'all's lives. And they get fuel and energy from that. Oh, narcissists love when they turn your child against you. Now, notice this. Children who have been alienated, notice the extreme level of violence and disinhibition. And then also, it's the aggressive victim. They're doing things that are just wholly unacceptable, and appears to be a reflection of being disinhibited, right? But then they simultaneously purport to be the victim in the circumstance too. So the children who are unfortunately tortured, who are just mimicking the thoughts of the narcissist, but whatever they're mimicking is usually not congruent with what you're actually going through or what's going on around you. It's all a sort of like a broadcast, similar to like a radio station broadcast. So when the narcissists want to get to you, they simply manipulate that emotional chain, and the narcissist does the performance. The unalive narcissist does the performance in front of you. Now, look here. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. And so notice what this guy does. So he takes a photograph with the son of the man who shot him in the face. Look at this stuff.
Momentum, acceleration, embrace the pursuit. David Yerman Chevron Collection.
Gotta get to these commercials.
What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another video, man. This situation crazy. We got that boy 50 Cent, and we got his son Marquise, Lil 50. So basically, what's going on? If y'all been
so let me show you here. So this is 50 Cent's son here, and this is the son of the man who shot 50 Cent in the face and tried to murder him. And at this time, the person who did this for 50 was in jail. So let me just tell you how important it is for you to understand how narcissists work. Narcissists will partner with your enemies to target you. And if they can use your child against you, that makes the hurt even more, because 50 son is telling him basically, you ain't shit publicly. And this reflects the unconscious nature of Marquise. You know, it seems to me that his mother tortured him so much psychologically that he does not have any internal sense of self, and therefore he has no awareness of any higher power. And so he's locked inside of his own ego, which is controlled by proxy by his mother. So his mother determines what's right or wrong. His mother said, destroy. And this is what he goes out and do. And then look, he's being embraced and he's being rewarded by the gentleman. He's put his arms around him. He's pointing at him. Look at the look on his face. He knows he's a mark. He knows he's a mark. And there is no way, absolutely no way, this kid is going to go against his father at all. There's no way he's going to go against his father, right? And so, but look, you can see he's entered a network. And look, he's around people. They're not by themselves. He's around people. This is the grooming. It's interesting.
And we got his son Marquise, Lil 50. So basically what's going on, if y'all been following 50 for a long time and y'all heard of Supreme McGriff, that was like somebody 50 came up under, but he ran Queens, Supreme ran Queens, you feel me, when he was out. So he ain't really like 50. They called 50 a rat. They said this and that. So to get into the situation, Supreme locked up, he got a whole bunch of time, you feel me? But 50's son took a picture with Supreme's son and posted it. So 50's son basically, you know, rocking with the enemy. And he been doing this for a long time. Every time 50 get into it with somebody.
And that's another thing, common reality with parental alienation, is that your child is rocking with the enemy. Your child is rocking with the enemy. It's a delusional system they're in. And there's no way your child can survive under these circumstances. No way. Because your child is actually living within a delusional system where the fake reality that mama created for him is the real reality. But you can't live in a fake reality. You have to live in the real reality in order to survive.
His son go right up under him. So a lot of people saying 50 baby mother putting this stuff in his head, making him turn against his father. But if y'all know 50 and y'all been rocking with 50, 50 don't really got no picks. He don't care who you is, including family. He will cut you off. He'll talk bad about you.
Let me see. Okay, here's the guy. Okay, let me see here.
You know, actually, your son wants to sit down with you.
No, he doesn't. See, Charlamagne, you would call me. You don't call TMZ to say you want to sit down. Think about it.
See, 50 Cent, he's getting awareness of the darkness that's associated with his son. His son is a receptacle, is the entry point to a dark network of narcissists that basically using him for his resources, and his son is simply the coupler that connects the two. But these are dark people on the other end of his son that destroyed his son's psychological and emotional functioning and is holding him psychologically connected to them, controlling his reality. This is a very violent thing to be doing to a child, right? And so when his son called, his son can only, he can detect that his son is not really serious because his son wanted to contact him through TMZ, right? That seems to be the direction of the mom, not the son. The mom would contact TMZ in order to put you on your spot. Your son would contact you.
You know, he wants some attention. And it's okay, you can have as much of that as you want. You know, it's just like he's been trained to believe what you seen him say in that interview, that what he was saying, he's been trained to believe that for a long time. Like you don't just wake up and say, oh, well, I don't believe what I've been believing.
Yeah, he's trained to believe by an entire network that has consequences against him. See, there's two things with this. 50 describes how let me see.
But never be open to it?
Oh, well, I don't believe what I've been believing forever.
But never
time. Like that, what he was saying, he's been trained to believe that.
Okay, yeah. So we talked about what the kid is trained to believe, right? He trained to believe a lot about you, right? However, the other side of it is that we don't acknowledge the violence and the threats and the intimidation that the whole group puts on him. Is two-sided. It's the side that you see, and it's the side that these sick narcissists are doing to the child in privacy outside of the awareness of your environment, right? So they also threaten, intimidate them, damage them, and harm them if they don't react in the way that they demand them to react.
Time, bro. Like,
see, the loving parent has no idea of the degree of the violence that's being directed towards their child. So when there's a conflict, they have a tendency to respond in love. However, in conflict, the other parents outside the awareness of the empathetic parent, the narcissistic parent always respond with violence. So the victim is always going to give their attention and concentration preferentially to the one who's being the most violent in this closed system where they can't escape.
You don't just wake up and say, oh, well, I don't believe what I've been believing forever.
But never be open to it?
No, I don't think the relationship works. Look, for a long time, I've been running behind him. I went places that he went, and he left the place.
You know, actually,
go places where he went and he would leave.
It feels like I have nothing, all right? I had to rebuild my life over $6,700 a month.
Marquise, I know you feel like that ain't a lot of money, but it's a lot of people here watching right now.
Now, let me tell you this. There is another thing if you're dealing with parental alienation, when you talk about the impact of the children. Now, cognitively, they are very convincing cognitively. They're very manipulative, and they understand what they're hiding. And they have to stay in line. They can't let anybody know about what's happening. It's more like they're in a cult. They've been captured by a cult, and the cult leader, which is the narcissist that's unalived them, demand absolute loyalty, right? And so here, he's complaining about $6,000 a month.
Girls that get
$1,000, $600-700 a month in the state of New York City. You do the math.
Oh, I done the math. I've been in child support, bro. I went to jail for it. And if he's contributing $6,700, that means
now he's encountered somebody outside of the network that his mother created that puts him in, and he cannot believe what he's saying. He's realizing this can't be true.
Mom's got the other half. It ain't just for him to take care of you. She got to take care of you.
If I told you right now, right, you got to start your life over right now with $6,700 a month and rebuild your life.
Yes.
Can you do it?
Now, another thing that we have here is victimhood. Remember, he's purporting to be the victim when this guy took a picture with your enemy that had tried to kill you. And you're talking about how much money he should give you. Do you see the entitlement right there? Right? You see the elevated self-esteem, you know, his mother's perspective and the group of sick narcissists who unfortunately tortured this kid to the point where he was unalived. And he only recognizes his external ego, which is them, meaning they tell him exactly how to believe, and he's running into reality now. He's run into the boundary of that delusional system that he's in, and now he's peeking his head out into another reality. That's the true reality, what this gentleman is saying. And it's tough for him to accept. So he just simply recoils, right? Look at what happened.
With 6,700, I can.
You have nothing.
6,700, yes, I can. I'm from the
nothing.
6,700, I'm good.
That's what I'm
month,
saying.
nigga.
I know what it feels like to have nothing, all right?
Do you see the delusional sense? His father was a multimillionaire. He lived in a mansion. I don't know what it is, have nothing. You know, here's another thing that you'll see that's common amongst the victims of narcissists that even though they're surrounded by plenty or an abundance, the narcissist still alienates them, so they're still in poverty while they are in either middle and upper class. This is something interesting to think about there. Look, so the narcissistic mother who unalived him doesn't have any care for him. It's only about her. And although she's living the life of a multimillionaire, it doesn't mean that the victim is. And I believe that's what he's saying here too. Listen to what he's saying.
Rebuild my life over $6,700 a month.
And then he's depending upon someone else. He's trying to find a different external ego that will be his father, that will be able to give him enough resources to satisfy his emotional, psychological torment. Right? So he doesn't have enough resources, right? In his mother's world, that's not enough. So he believed that's not enough, right? When that is enough. And he's running into the limits of that delusion that he's having right there, right? So, but while he's pursuing this, he's still describing himself being in poverty. And that's one of the elements that you can see for this unfortunate child here that was unalived by the narcissists around him. He was deprived of absolutely everything, even financial resources. So think about that. Even though you're middle class, if you're the victim, then you can be in poverty within middle class or in poverty within higher socioeconomic groups. And that's a subject I don't think anyone has ever spoken about. Narcissistic families alienating you to the point whereby you are in poverty within the family system that is not impoverished. It's something else.
I know you feel like that ain't a lot of money, but it's a lot of people who here watching right now. And girls that get $200
$600-700 a month.
This shit with Saya is great. My youngest son, I'm proud of that. I love that baby. He's my guy. He thinks I'm a superhero, man. I took him on tour. He was looking up at the thing because it's the first time he seen me in a live performance. And he was like, oh, shoot. He come back and go.
We're going to talk about that later,
I
too.
just woke up. I had a long day on the gram yesterday. I didn't get the chance to hop in the most gangster.
So I'm glad 50 started fighting back. If you are a parent suffering from parental alienation, you have to let go and you have to move on, because the only way to make that situation better is you have to get to your goal. I mean, you have to, in order to make that situation better, you have to really shine. And you can't get involved in the power struggles anymore. You have to detach, because the power struggles are just going to torture the unalived child anyway. So you're going to have to detach in order to, And so 50 Cent's son responds to his pop saying he's choose Tekashi 69 over him. Look at this bum. I mean, look at this bum. I mean, this degenerate right here, this degenerate bum right here feels he has the right to torture his father in front of everybody and target his reputation, target his image and everything from his semi-protected position as a child. And that's what these sick children do. They do that. Even though he's an adult, he's still looking at a framework of being a child while he's tacking it. That's just the framework that he's using to hide his outwardly hostile and aggressive behavior towards his unnecessary behavior towards his father.
But everybody tagged me in it, so here go right here. Let's see what he said.
You see this son yet? I ain't heard from 69.
We're connecting with people.
He's his mother's child now. He told on everybody.
Whenever they need to do it online.
Because it gives customers.
He better than Marquise, though. I take him before I take my actual file.
Wherever they are.
Did he just say he'll claim a rat?
no parts of that cheese I eat over here, big fella. I don't know what y'all got going on. I don't know what y'all got going on over there. That's some other shit. Stupid.
See,
Help me in my comments.
and see, his response didn't even see. That's another thing. What I'm saying is that apparently he didn't get approval from the higher narc to come up with response, and so the response that he's come up with, because he was unalive, is something that's tangential to the issue. His responses, notice his responses here don't address what he said. Look.
Did he just say he would claim a rat?
Oh, nah, I don't want no parts of that cheese I eat over here, big fella. I don't know what y'all got going on. I don't know what y'all got going on over there.
Yeah, you can sort of see the performance in the artificial performance here. Look at him.
Wherever they are.
But the content in the performance doesn't have anything to do with, basically, he said, you ain't shit.
Did he just say he would claim a rat?
Oh, nah, I don't want no parts of that cheese I eat over here, big fella. I don't know what y'all got going on. I don't know what y'all got.
And then he's trapped too, because he started a public feud with the celebrity and he has nothing to offer, right? He doesn't have anything, so there's no audience for him. He's only doing this to try to damage the relationship between 50 and everyone else. See, this is the important thing. With these alienated children, they pretend to be victims while they're actively targeting you. So if you have to be very careful with these kids, because if it's parental alienation and this group is attacking you, they're going to attack you through the child. And so the child is going to play victim in circumstances, lie on you, frame things in way, talk about you behind your back. The child is going to be doing everything that that parent is doing.
No wonder 50 Cent's son, Marquise Jackson, couldn't manage a smile even though he received his father's $40 million inheritance. He is about to face 3 inevitable disasters. Marquise Jackson used to be 50 Cent's most beloved son. 50 Cent not only gave Marquise a luxury mansion worth millions of dollars, but also took family photos with his son and accompanied him to various events. He even tattooed his son's name, the most prominent part of his arm. However, this intense fatherly love disappeared after Marquise started living with his mother, Tompkins. Marquise grew more and more distant from his father. What made 50 Cent even angrier was that his son had become closely associated with Supreme's son, who had...
Yeah, now, remember, he was so close to his son. So narcissism is a network. Narcissists target you by attacking the things you are most attached to. And so if he's investing all this time, attention to his son, the narcissist will spend all of their time to destabilize that relationship. And that's what's happening to you with parental alienation, is that narcissist is coming after you.
Tried to kill him. This betrayal completely enraged 50 Cent. Since then, he has repeatedly stated bluntly in public that Marquise no longer exists to him. The child support of $6,700 per month that he originally provided was immediately cut off after Marquise complained that it wasn't enough. No wonder 50...
Ain't no scope in this shit. You gotta be smart enough to pick up the information as you go.
Now look, so this is an early video of 50 Cent here. And this is a point I want to make. Okay, now none of the saints are welcome where they were born, where they grew up from. None of the saints are welcome where they grew up from. So you see how 50 Cent was a gang member, shot in the face, became a rapper, and then moved out of the game and began focusing on business, and then became a multi-millionaire and was on his road to becoming a billionaire before I think the women in his life like kept him down. This is a very important story. It's a very heroic story, 50 Cent's life and things like that. And it's a story about victory. It's a story about overcoming. It's a story about No matter what circumstances you're in, you can always come up. I think that should have been the message, the predominant messaging that 50 Cent would have had. However, the narcissists around him took control over those images by constantly accusing him and targeting him by using his own child. So remember what I was saying, that, and like go back in my series called on Narcissism the Network, Tupac as an actor. And I was saying here, in order for the narcissists around him to cover up what they did to him, they would have to always portray him as somebody he wasn't, such as a thug. When you look at Tupac as an artist, then you see, hey, the people around him took all of his assets and they set the stage up that really resulted in his death, right? Now, and then, so you think of Tupac as a thug, not as celebrated as an artist, right? Whereas all the other artists like Tom Cruise, he's known as Tom Cruise. He's respected as an actor, not as the actor in Mission Impossible, right? So 50 Cent's story is a heroic story of a young black boy coming from that point to getting to where he's at. But it's the narcissist around him that's using his child as the main vehicle to taint his image and to portray him in ways that he doesn't agree with, right? So just look at this. Now, this can imagine you being a teenager this focused. I can't imagine being shot in the face and going through that and then having these concepts that he's talking about here. Look here. Now, his son wasn't talking about, now notice the bipolarity. He's going to be talking about very illuminating things here, and his son is only talking about victimhood. They're like two opposite poles, right? Let me show you here.
Niggas say I'm crazy, I be thinking, yo, I was crazy enough to believe what the fuck I was saying gonna happen was gonna happen. And that's why I was consistent enough to exist now. Nigga, we the same. We come up the same corner. We ain't had much. You understand what I'm saying? You just gotta hustle. You gotta go hard, man. You can't play games. You know what my grandfather told me? You don't get as far as the motherfuckers you talk to for no reason. You'll be successful as the motherfuckers that you talk to for no reason. What I mean is, if you spend your day talking to a nigga that got nothing going on, what the fuck kind of information can he offer you?
Now, you see what I'm saying? And this is him as a teenager and in the ghetto, right? This is 50 Cent story's heroic story, right? But then look at all the things like his son. Look at his son's attitude and things like that.
Can he help you learn something? Can he teach you something in the company? Ain't no school.
Now, this understanding that 50 Cent has is very important. I think if he really understood the concept of narcissism as a network, then I think that he would have been able to gotten this. I think he would have been able to stay out of these situations.
Imagine if every corner.
Trump said this week he spoke to the president of.
Okay, let me see. What else do I have here? Okay. Okay, here's the guy that shot him twice.
You know I have the resilience to go against anybody. Like there's nobody in this studio. Those are the guys that you would choose not to go against at that point. It's in the environment, they got it, and it's not him individually. Because everybody's greater in their absence than they are in their presence. It's always stronger than he is. You know I have the resilience to go against anybody. Like there's nobody in this studio. Those are the guys that you would choose not to.
So I guess he decided not to confront it.
Bridge. I had to rebuild my life over $6,700 a month.
Marquise, I know you feel like
this nigga is crazy. You're 25 years old. Why are you still talking about child support? I spent $5,000 a year with me. That's why I sent his mother to child support, because the bitch thought that she was supposed to get that much more, she wanted more. That motherfucker nothing.
I just wanted to fix it. Look, you know, I'll never ask for shit, man. But I was thinking,
Nigga, a little extra $6,700 a month.
It's severely damaged. That
you talking about the kid? It's not even a kid. It's 25 years old. No, my issue was at 16. They wanted to charge me as an adult then. You see what I'm saying? So you look and you go, when you gonna figure it out? I don't think the relationship works. I'm not, look, for a long time,
you know, I'm glad 50 got a chance to get some resolution of this and everything. And I hope you and your journeys also get some revolution. I'll just let you know there's life on the other end of parental alienation. And although these narcissists have found a way to target you at your most vulnerable and most painful way, that is your beloved child, even though they've done that to you, I trust me that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There's light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to do more of series on the parental alienation and what happens on the side of the children. And what happens is that I need to help you look at parental alienation from a not so close up, but from a distance. Because what the narcissists do, they encourage or they push your child to reflect immorality. That is, they produce immorality within your child. And that immorality becomes a huge problem for how they engage with you in an immoral way. So everything across the board is immoral. And one of the ways that you're going to have to learn to heal is that immorality is a decision that the child made. It's a decision that they've made, although it's been significantly influenced by the social paths around them, but it's their decision. And so ultimately, 50 Cent made a huge emotional and psychological jump or improvement because he was able to separate himself from his son and maintain boundaries. You know, I think that's all I want to hit for today. Coming up next, we're going to go through, that was 50 Cent's first baby mama, right? You know, if you are someone with empathy, and so that means that you have that light shining out of you. I mean, you have that light, that empathy bursting out of your soul into the room, and they pick it up like a force field. That's how they know to come after you. If you're experiencing parental alienation, hopefully we'll soon, on my platform that we'll soon be releasing, we're going to be focusing on the treating patients with these who are dealing with these type of issues. You know, bring, hello, yes, Dr. Reed, hey, how can I help you? Help, well, yeah, what's going on? I'm under attack by a swarm of narcissists. Hold on 1 second. All right, take care, guys. I'll talk to you guys later. All right, ciao.